now you're lost in the heat of it all.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Motivate and Educate. I'm here with Travis Roche from Anytime Fitness Corrimal. Travis is a health and wellness coach who's been in the industry for a fair while now and very like-minded person. That's why we tend to link together. But I'll let Travis introduce himself and what's like a bit of background on yourself so the viewers know.
No worries, mate. Thanks, Tommy. Very privileged to be able to come down to Kiama and be able to be on your video, mate. So the name's Travis Roche. Basically been in the fitness world for the last 5 years. Previous to that, tried to play a little bit of rugby league, but succumbed to a few serious injuries.
It was pretty good too.
And then from there, just try to build up my education in the health and fitness world, and currently reside out of Anytime Fitness Corrimal. And basically passion is looking after clients' health holistically, but also safely, and having a bit of fun with it around as well.
So I think that's like we were talking about, people always seem to link in due to like they're drawn to each other kind of thing, to passions. And me and Travis have pretty much identical beliefs and very similar, just like we were talking about before. So we both believe in obviously keeping it fairly simple, being very open-minded. So we don't like to pick one line of traffic and close off. We're all about learning, and Travis is doing some pretty cool things at the moment, where he, how would you say, you get it back to the basics, and you keep it simple with them, and you be honest and real with them, basically. But do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, so I guess when people come to me and they've got some problems with their health or their wellness or strength or anything like that, basically just strip it right back to the basic elements. We live in such a complicated world at the moment, with high stress jobs and big families and all that sort of stuff. So to be able to sort of take it back to simple basics, it's good just to think about something in its most simplistic form. And what we find is that people are more coherent in that atmosphere, and really just nutting out one thing at a time. Get one thing right before you branch on, rather than trying to focus on 10 different things and then sort of getting through 1 or 2 weeks of training and then sort of failing and thinking like you've gone backwards. So that's really what I try to instill with my guys is, any new person that comes and sees me for some advice or for some training is to look at what they've done, why aren't they achieving what they have, and then look at how to simplify it to start with, and then once they grasp those simplistic ways of targeting what they want to target, then we can get into some of that advanced type of training, and that's really what I like to focus on and have pretty good success with.
I think I want to touch on something you mentioned before, because I haven't heard many people talk about this, but it's good, is you're saying you find out what the barrier they put up, and then what makes them go backwards, and then you try to break that down. Do you want to explain on that a bit?
Yeah, so people will always have that, that default setting. So people will obviously come to you with a problem, and then it's up to you to sort of break down, well, why is that problem happening? It could either be, a relationship breakdown, it could be the environment they're working in, environment they're with in terms of relationship, and then sort of looking at ways about how to break down that barrier. So how do we improve someone's lifestyle in their current scenario? Can that happen? 9 times out of 10, if someone wants to change their health or change, strength or anything like that, then obviously they're going to have to change at least one thing. They're going to have to do something every day that's totally different. Whether that's 15 to 20 minutes of mobility at night, whether that's learning to have a proper sleep routine, whether that's just getting wholesome food in their diet.
Exactly.
So that's sort of generally what I like to focus on, and those barriers are probably the hardest, but they're the
fundamentals.
They're the cornerstone of any health and wellness program.
And just to touch on that, like we were saying that basically don't overcomplicate things. It sounds weird that we're telling people to go more basic, but like you were saying, you might only get them to lift 3 times a week, or you might work on this one day, that the other day. And we also want to touch on, like you said before, how you were saying, don't freak out if you make a mistake. So what we were talking about before, guys, is me and Trav make mistakes probably daily. Everyone makes mistakes, but the difference between, I think, obviously because we're trainers, we have a certain mindset we're doing something right because we constantly train, we constantly learn, and we constantly teach others. So the difference between us and what we got to try to get across, I think, is acknowledge when you make a mistake, or it's not even making a mistake, it's acknowledging what you're doing. Just be honest and aware of what you're doing. So we talked about we might have a beer, and or we might have a donut, or we might have one bad food. It doesn't matter. We're not saying we're definitely far from perfect. But when we do something, we just acknowledge it. Yeah. Okay, cool, whatever, let's go train.
Yeah.
I think that's where people go wrong. They do something bad and they're like, what just happened? And they freak out, and it's a spiral effect.
Yeah, the worst thing to do is, I guess, stress about it is, we've got to be, we're social creatures, You've got birthday parties, you've got anniversaries, you've got trips away and stuff like that. Yeah. Being aware of what you got coming up and then adjusting your training to that is probably the best way to do it. Yeah. So if I've known, if I've got a birthday party or, a Bucks party coming up, then that week before and that week after, I'm going to be pinpoint perfect in every aspect, sleep, water, that sort of stuff. So really not stressing out with that one drink, it's one bad meal isn't going to make you fat, just like one healthy meal isn't going to make you skinny. It is consistency and it is moderation, and keeping your mind in that moderation phase. Yeah, if someone's got 20% body fat, they're going to have to be a lot more strict than someone that's 10% and not near their ideal body
and
position.
Look at what percentages. So I talk about this a lot. I do 80-20 or try to. So people, if you obviously, like you said, if you've got more body fat, you might have to be a bit more strict at the start to initially get that weight off, and then you can live that 80-20. But or if you're really big, you need to obviously slowly just keep doing what you're doing and then taper. But once you're at that goal weight, I don't find it that hard if your mind's right to get that 80-20 and you don't feel bad about it. You continue to look the way you want to. I think that's key is acknowledging it, definitely, guys. Also allowing yourself to do those things, like to say 80-20, like you said. If you've got something coming up, just go for it. Like don't freak out about it. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's natural. So moving forward with your career and where you want to go, like without talking about one thing or another, in terms of where you're going or what you're doing, but in terms of what you want to connect with people and the philosophies you have. Do you want to just quickly touch on that and let people know kind of what you're trying to, it's pretty similar to me, but what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to push to people? Yeah,
so I guess basically what I'm trying to do is just basically reinforce and make people just focus on the basics. I don't like to overcomplicate things. I'm a pretty simple type of guy. People are so overconsumed with everything. So being able to think about health and wellness and just trying to do something active every day is what I want people to do.
Yep.
Too many times people can spend the whole day in the house or working and not being able to go and incorporate something. It doesn't have to be weight training, it doesn't have to be high intensity sprint training or anything like that. Just getting outside, getting some sun, eating good food, spending time with family, having those positive relationships is really, really big.
Yep.
Because generally when we look at the population as a whole, we don't get outside, we don't move enough, we don't spend enough time with our family or friends, and we don't really enjoy ourselves. We're all about, making more money and, being in the corporate world or, doing all that sort of stuff.
Need to go back to the foundation.
Yeah, so what I'm, trying to get through is, trying to build these relationships like Tom said, and really try and help other trainers. So I want to be able to educate and help other trainers be able to teach these basics, but also how to relate and talk to people about it as well.
Definitely. I think I'm definitely going to go down that road eventually. I think, I know I've been in the industry 8 years, but being 23, I'm going to just wait a bit to do that. Like, you're a bit older, so I feel like you'd be a great person to teach. But I agree, that's one of my things that people fresh out of their courses are so influenced by whoever their mentor is.
Yep.
And I kind of feel a responsibility to grab a hold of those people.
Yep.
I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone or anything like that. It's just that at the core of what we're doing, it's the right thing to do, and their body forget about like calories and that. It's the best thing for their body. That real whole foods we're talking about. And the biggest one I like that you said is mindset. The things we teach people and the way we want people to think is so powerful, and it's all from the mind. And like you were saying, we can't always do that. We have to sometimes refer to psychologists. But as long as they're getting that idea of that, we're trying to push every single avenue, whether it be directly from me or you, or whether it be physios, nutritionists, dietitians. I think that's what we both believe, and where we're going from there. Anything else you want to touch on before we leave, or any notes? What do you I guess want to leave the viewer with? It was kind of the same kind of question, but what do you want everyone to? What could they do? Is a hard question. Every day to just be aware of what they're doing and try to improve their life.
Yeah, I guess just spending 5 or 10 minutes on your own, whether it's in the morning. In the morning would probably be the best way. Make sure that your house is quiet. Try and get up 10-15 minutes earlier, and just have a look at what you do daily. Just take a step back and look, I guess, at your life holistically and go, am I doing the best thing I can possible to get proper food in? How can I make time for training? How can I be a positive influence on my family? How can I, implement a stretching program? How can I get better night's sleep? And just really coming up with those key aspects, and then find the one that you're having the most trouble with, and then really trying to delve into, I guess, how to improve that. So, trying to rely on proper sources of information. Don't, I guess, follow too much of the fad dieting or all that sort of stuff, and just think about the natural way to do it, the natural way to achieve what you want to achieve.
I love that, and you just gave me an idea. I'm going to give everyone a piece of knowledge as well. I'll go where Trav went, and I'll go a bit of the reverse. I'll go down the timeline of time. So I'm a massive believer in, I freak out about it actually, that you can't get time back, and don't waste your time any time of the day. What I think's wasting time and what you think's wasting time, that doesn't matter. It's if you're happy doing it and you feel like you're getting something out of it, do it. It's not saying that you will have to be trainers. It's making sure everything you're doing is either bettering yourself, you're enjoying it, or you feel good about what you're doing, like as a good person. So what I'm getting with this is what Trav said. Take a look at your day. Say, okay, was that 2 hours of Netflix or whatever, was it worth it? Maybe, if that's your, you work 12-hour days, 10-hour, 15, whatever you want to do, and that's your relaxing, then that's worth it.
I might watch Netflix, I watch Netflix a couple times a week, but I'm on the floor stretching, trigger point, that sort of stuff.
And you probably worked your ass off to get, that's your release. So my release is after I've worked, 15 hours and I've trained, my release is watching marketing and training and health and nutrition videos on YouTube. Like, that's how I learn, and that's my release. But because I know I'm still getting benefit from it and I'm still learning. But what we're trying to say here is if you know that what you're doing is unproductive and you want to feel more fulfilled, then branch out to the people that will help to fulfill you and try to make a good connection with that.
Try and spend as much time doing your passions as possible. Make sure that passion's a positive thing. Passions are huge. I learned probably more about passion from one of my mentors, Keegan Smith. He's probably the guy that preaches it the most. And he's a really good source of information as well. So he's a good guy.
Passion, definitely. Whatever it is, if it's volleyball, if it's building houses, whatever it is, do more of it. Double down and finish on that. Cheers, brother. Thanks for your time, mate. I appreciate it.
Double D, big full breast on my baby. Triple